We set up Apache web server, we configure directory browsing, and we set up password authentication. And today we want to look at setting up chat rooms, portals, discussion forums, things of that nature. There are a lot of free open source PERL applications as well as PHP. We'll take a look at several of those. Today we're going to look at PERL. Available online with Matt's Script Archive. That's you know, excellent place to go. I mean, there are chat rooms, there are bulletin boards, there are games, there are all kinds of applications available out there that you can download and set up without too much trouble on your websites if you're running Apache under Ubuntu. Alright, and this is Matt's Script Archive, and just some of the things here. Notice there's like form mail, guestbook, www board, PHP, counter, text clock. Personal favorite of mine that I'm going to install today is known as simply web app. I believe it's webapp.org, but an easy way to find it on Google. Get their latest version 0.9. This is an excellent portal / chat room / discussion forum that you can install and run it off your Ubuntu server or desktop system with Apache 2. And okay, and here we go. In this case, I'm going to grab the tarball, and it's only about 1 megabyte, so it won't take that long. And grabbed it, and we're done there. And so by default in Ubuntu 10.10, if you haven't modified the preferences in Firefox, it'll save it to your downloads folder. There's a couple of ways that we could extract this. We could open it with Archive Manager. We could go here. I could select the file and I could say extract and do this. Also, remember we were looking at using the tar tool a few days ago. And again, if I were going to do that, it would be sudo and tar, and I want to extract it. So it would, and I want to, in this case, I'll do it with the permissions. So P for permissions, X to extract, V for verbose. It's a GZ, it's a gzip file. It's compressed. So I want to decompress it. I want to specify the file name. I'll just use a wildcard here. Okay, and then if I do it that way, notice who's the owner now. So, because I use sudo, I did it as root. And notice there's like a little lock there. So, unless I open Nautilus as root, gk sudo Nautilus, I wouldn't be able to put that in the trash bin. If I tried, it would deny me access. Just sort of a quick review, but anyway, it doesn't really matter how you extract it. But once you do extract it, you're going to need to either, from the command prompt, use the mv command and move things to the appropriate folder, or you can do what I like to do. I like to use Nautilus, and I'll just do Alt F2, and I'll run gk sudo with Nautilus. And that'll open up your file browser with root privileges. And then if I want to go to my home folder, again, I just go back to home and C Germany, and I'm going to go into downloads and into web app, and here are my extracted files. And first thing you might want to do, obviously, is go and look at the readmes. And now there is an automatic installation script, install CGI, and if it were a perfect world, you'd only have to chmod.755 and run it, and it would take care of the rest, setting up all the other permissions. And as a matter of fact, in older versions of Ubuntu, like Feisty-Fun and Red Hat Linux, you know, that was pretty much all you had to do. Now, with Ubuntu 10.10, you're going to have some tweaking to do. This script will not run all the way. It can't configure all the permissions automatically. But that's okay. If you don't mind tinkering and tweaking things a little bit, manually with the chmod command, we'll have this script up and running in virtually no time. So sort of the installation instructions. Let's look at the credits. In this case, M. Carter Brown and Jocelyn Brown were our developers, okay? And the last copyright was 2007, and their website is www.web-app.org. And in this case, this is a free application that's freely available to people in the open source community, written in PERL. A moment of silence for our programmers, please. Yes, we are thankful to our programmers for a wonderful, excellent portal. Okay, what I want to do first is everything in here that's in the CGI bin, I want to put that in the CGI bin. But first, I have to figure out where that is. Well, to figure that out, I'm going to open up another version of Nautilus. Or actually, I'm just going to use gedit. And in gedit, I'm going to go to File System, and I'm going to go to etc and Apache 2. And I'm going to go down to Sites Available and open up the default configuration file here. And all I'm interested in is this, the script alias. In this case, for this virtual host or site, I want to know what the absolute path is to the CGI bin. And this is, it's sort of a virtual map. So if I type in my website, myhost.com CGI bin, really what's happening is it's remapping it to the absolute path of user lib CGI bin. So that's, I know that I want to place my files right here, user lib CGI bin. Okay, and then you should leave these, as the defaults. Notice the default options here in the config file. So I'm going to close that. Again, remember it was in etc Apache 2 sites available, and it's simply called default. If you only have one virtual host, you can have more than one if you have more virtual hosts. But so now that I know the path, I know that it's user lib CGI bin. I'm going to take all of these files here, and I want to copy them and paste them there. And again, remember, you're going to have root privileges. If you try to open Nautilus without using gksudo, it's not going to give you permission to paste those files in any folder outside of your home folder. Because I did that, I can now. So I'm going to go into user and lib. Be patient, it takes lib a few seconds. There are thousands of files in that folder. It takes Nautilus a few moments to index those files. And then I want to go find my CGI bin right here. And because I want to play with more than one portal and more than one chat room, I'm going to put, instead of just putting everything in the root of the CGI bin here, if I'm running 10 or 20 different applications in this bin, I don't necessarily want to put all the files in this root directory because they may override each other or they may interfere with each other. So I want to organize it so everything is in its own subdirectory. And so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to create a folder, and I'm just going to call this portal 1 in the CGI bin. And in that subdirectory, I'm going to paste all those files. Okay, so they have been positioned and they've been placed. Now I'm going to go back to my local file system, and I'm going to go back to the home folder, see Germany, downloads, and then into the web app application here. And now the next batch or group of files I want is all these. I don't really need the readmes, but I'm going to copy and paste those as well. Now these go to a different location. Right? These need to go to where my website is, which by default when you set up Apache, it's var and www. Right? And this is sort of just a copy of networking programming running here. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a corresponding subdirectory or folder, and I'm going to call it portal 1, all caps. And I'm going to paste all those files there.